Hello, hello, it's the Working Whiskey Woman, and I'm back with you to talk about a really cool Michigan rye whiskey that I found over the holiday weekend. So this is actually from Grand Traverse in Traverse City area, and it is called Old George. This is 100% straight rye whiskey. When they say 100%, what they actually mean is that the mash bill is 95% rye with 5% malted barley. Remember, you always have to have a little bit of malted barley to get the enzymes going. It's actually done a little bit in what they call the Pennsylvania style. So there are other ryes that you'll find, such as Pikesville, which I don't have right with me, but Pikesville or Rittenhouse, or many of them are done with a 95% mash bill. Sometimes you'll see some that'll say they're rye whiskey and they're just simply higher in rye than they are in corn. But I really appreciate having something that's a 95%, that old style, with just allowing the flavors of the rye to kind of pop out. So I poured my sample, and the color on this is actually really impressive. This is 4 years. And so it's not a bottled in bond, because that would be a bourbon, but a 4-year would get a little bit more color on it. So it's got some nice legs on it kind of going there, and it's just some beautiful color. So ooh, when you can really get a hint of the lemongrass kind of going on in there, and hints of oregano. So it's a little bit more spicy, if you will. Usually I find rye very sweet. This one's got a nice little sweet spice thing going on, like you'd get in a nice Italian herb. So on the taste, I'm definitely getting that rye flavor on there. It's definitely much more of a grassy feel, but I'm also getting hints of like a woody type of herb, like a rosemary, and also anything that would be a little bit more like a woody nut, something more like a walnut, or actually a hazelnut would actually be something similar. So I'm getting my water, if I can find it. Here it is. See how that opens up. Now on the end, it kind of it hugs you a little bit for a while. It seems a little peppery on the end, but it's kind of now warming up like a really nice Italian sauce, a little bit like a tomato sauce. It's just kind of a little spicy in it, maybe a little vodka going on. And in this, again, I'm getting a lot more of that floral flavor, which is that really nice little balance. It definitely is not very sweet, but actually, as somebody who appreciates whiskey, I actually really appreciate the fact that they stuck to the rye style. Now, here's a key to the rye. Ryes are really great in Manhattans, and the reason being is because they have that spice. Now, Grand Traverse, for example, they actually sell this up at their distillery in their tasting rooms, aged in a basically they finish it in a sherry cask. Oh no, it's not a sherry cask. Yes, it is a sherry cask. And it's really, really nice because it has a nice balance between that sweet and spicy. I had tried their bourbon, and it wasn't quite as just really astounding as it is with the rye, although I appreciated both. But with the rye, it's really, really cool. And that sweetness, again, from that sherry cask, really blends very perfectly with this. Now back to the Manhattan. Manhattan tends to be a little bit sweet because you're using vermouth. So you're using like a sweet vermouth to go with your little spicy rye. Now I'm going to teach you a little trick on how to make a Manhattan a little bit differently. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our 2 ounces of rye bourbon, or actually not rye bourbon, rye whiskey. Bourbon's a little bit too sweet for this, so I would not recommend that. And then basically what you want to do is, instead of a sweet vermouth, we have some yellow chartreuse. So we're going to do, oh, if I can open it, we're going to do a 1/2 ounce of this. And then we're going to do a 1/2 ounce of the Coqui Rosa, which is like basically a aperitif wine. And again, getting that a little bit of that sweetness in there, but not quite like a true sweet vermouth. If you're going to get a vermouth, I recommend getting a a really nice one. Some of the ones can be a little cheap, and they can definitely kind of dumb down a little bit your beautiful rye that you have going on. And so as of course, I've got my shaker, my salad shaker, probably not conventional, but I really, really enjoy it. And I'm just gonna shake this up a little bit. And for me, I'm going to pull my glass that my wonderful husband bought me, saying talented, he's lucky, I'm the fabulous trophy wife. And boy, I need it today after my day of work. So I'm gonna just basically pour it in here, a little bit leaky there. But what you want to do with it cold is you want to serve it at a cool, you know, basically the right cold temperature. That's why you basically shake it over ice. You don't want it to melt too fast. And again, with this, I'm going to top it with a cherry. But the cherry I'm going to use is actually a Michigan cherry. This is actually more of like a golden cherry, and because I really love Michigan cherries, I'm going to put 2 in there. And I'm going to enjoy my Manhattan. So this is a really great Michigan distillery. I was actually really impressed. It's a little bit more off the beaten path, and I don't think it's quite as old as some of the other distilleries. But the Landis family basically gets their rye from basically a local farmer, and it's pretty much Michigan grain to bottle. No MGP in this. It's pretty straightforward, and I think they're doing a good job. So with that, cheers.